hearing. So we got all the public safety today, and first up is Chief Drake and the police department. So if y'all come on down, bring your folks, and set up shop right here in front of me. You know the drill. You've been doing this quite a while. So glad to have y'all here today. Just have a seat. I think the mics are on. Just test them real quick, and then if you would, just introduce who you have with you. And Chief, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. All right, good afternoon, Chairperson Roden and members of the Metropolitan Council. It's my pleasure to be with you this afternoon to represent the men and women of our police department during this budget hearing. It's also an honor to serve as Chief of Police in my hometown, the city that I grew up in, and what I believe is the greatest city in America. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce leaders in our police department that's in council chambers with me at this time. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce our finance manager, Samir Mihik, along with Captain Kelly Cantrell, who works in our fiscal division. In the gallery with me also is a handful of our leaders from the police department: Assistant Chief Dwayne Green, Assistant Chief Mike Hager, Deputy Chief Virginia Kerrigan, Deputy Chief Keith Stevens, Deputy Chief Michelle Richter, Deputy Chief Chris Gilder, Deputy Chief Tommy Widener, Deputy Chief Greg Blair, who's not with us today, Ms. Morante, Director of Office of Professional Accountability, Mr. Don Aaron and Chris Mumford from Public Affairs, and also with us is our precinct commanders who represent our entire city. Commander Ricky Bearden from Central, Commander Lee Kendall from West, Commander Kevin Lovell from South, Commander Dayton Wheeler from Midtown, Commander Anthony McLean from North, Commander Harold Burke from East, Commander Brian Anderson from Madison, and Lieutenant Michael Warren representing Commander Ken Walburn, who's out of town. These talented individuals are making decisions every day to enhance the safety of families and visitors across Nashville. I'm very grateful for what they do and their decisions they make every day. As a parent and a grandparent of a 5-year-old grandson, and as your chief, my heart and prayers are still with this city as we dealt with the tragedy March 27th and dealing with Covenant School. Ironically, mass shooting happened 1 year ago today in Uvalde, Texas, and it happened during budget hearings last year. And I said after the Uvalde incident that members of our police department would not hesitate to go into a building for whatever reason, would not hesitate at any cause at all. And March 27th, they showed that when threatened with an active shooter. I'm proud of the response from my team of 5 officers that ultimately confronted the shooter and the hundreds of other police officers who entered and responded to the scene that day. Officers that day relied on their training and their commitment to Nashville. I'm grateful to Mayor Cooper and members of this council for ensuring that our city is able to hire persons dedicated to public safety and then train them to state-of-the-art law enforcement standards. School safety is on the minds of all of us here this afternoon. We're already making plans for the beginning of the school year in August. Between now and then, we will fill 26 current school resource officer vacancies that are vacant right now, but they would have permanent SROs. What we had last school year was rotating SROs that would spend 3 to 4 hours at middle schools during the school year. They would now have permanent SROs in their school. Our budget request for next fiscal year also includes a request for $3.8 million to continue our school security initiative that was begun after the Uvalde tragedy. That initiative funds a presence for volunteer officers at elementary schools for several hours each day. Precinct commanders are also ensuring coverage at elementary schools with on-duty officers during arrival and departure times as necessary, and elementary schools are permanently on the extra patrol list. We've also worked very closely with Director Stephen Martini, who's here on our response. If a call comes in to a school, it's considered a priority call until we're told otherwise. And so we will send units until we know that it's not a threat. We've actually tested that, and it's working right now. In this fiscal year, after Uvalde, our police department has spent $1.8 million in overtime to have a presence at elementary schools. A presence that equates to 26,000 hours. We are working to arrange active shooter training for Metro teachers in all grades across Nashville. Excuse me. I want this training to occur during the summer of this year. It will be taught by Metro officers who specialize in this area. As you've seen in our budget request, Mayor Cooper is also proposing to grow the police department authorized strength by 50 officers to a total of 1658. 45 of those officers represent the third and final installment to staff the new Southeast Precinct on Murfreesboro Pike. The groundbreaking, which is scheduled for 10 a.m. next Wednesday, May 31st. We anticipate the precinct opening the second half of 2024. As I mentioned a few moments ago, we're blessed in the Nashville Police Department to have extremely dedicated officers who care deeply for our city. The truth is, we need more. And we continue to work hard at recruiting qualified men and women who have a calling to public service. We're also looking in the future to build a police training academy. We are operating at capacity. We've had 8 classes that will happen this year, and we'll have 8 next year in a facility that was built in 1973. That's going to be a great request, but that would be for the next budget year. But if we're going to continue to grow our police department and have state-of-the-art training, we're going to have to look to build our training academy in the future. Some good news is, as of today, we are 137 police officers below full staffing. If you remember last year, we were over 200. Also, good news that we have is there are 71 police officers trainee classes and 3 trainee classes right now in the academy. 30 new officers will graduate on July 13th, and then a month later, we will graduate 9 lateral trainees consisting of veteran officers who chose to transition their careers to Nashville. The makeup of the lateral class tells us that interest in our police department is strong across the country. There are former members of NYPD, Las Vegas Police Department, and the Orlando Police Department that are all in that class. 36 additional men and women who are part of the basic trainee class that began May 16th will graduate from the academy on October 3rd. We will start 2 more trainee classes in August and 2 more after that in November, so that by the end of 2023, we will have begun a record 8 classes of police officer trainees. And then in 2024, we will continue with lateral and basic classes to bring our workforce up to the absolutely necessary level being proposed in Mayor Cooper's budget. As you can imagine, police agencies across the country are in competition for trainees, and the right salary is a key ingredient in keeping Nashville in the game. The mayor's budget proposes a badly needed 19.9% pay increase for police officer trainees, bringing starting salaries from $45,000 a year to $54,000. At the end of the new police officer's probationary period, his or her salary will increase from the current $59,000 to $65,000. This will keep us competitive with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, who is receiving a significant salary increase this year, and several other major cities our size. Metro HR tells us we also will be getting a 9.7 increase for veteran officers through the rank of captain. and a 4 to 7% increase for those at the rank of captain or above. I want to express my appreciation for this council's support of our officers as individuals and public safety professionals, and our initiatives that necessarily evolve as Nashville continues to experience enormous growth. Through all our work, this police department will always embrace our 3 core pillars: organizational excellence as being our best at every given moment, striving to train to be our best, community engagement, getting to know people and people getting to know us, and precision policing, a do-no-harm approach of arresting and finding individuals without over-policing and oversaturating neighborhoods, and while also having care and empathy for the people we serve. Our department's total general budget increase is recommended to be $16 million. More than half of that represented by the new Southeast Precinct and school security line items. The mayor's budget also includes $707,000 to fund the annual bonuses for 35 men and women who volunteered to staff our new permanent entertainment district unit. These officers are primarily on the Broadway corridor through Thursday through Sunday evenings and work among the crowds of people through early morning hours the following day. I strongly believe that those who volunteer for this permanent assignment are deserving of the bonuses that we are paying. The budget also provides $447,000 for an additional aircraft mechanic and aviation parts and fuel to keep the new Airbus helicopters and the 2 older models that we kept as standbys operating at top efficiency. There is also a $130,000 line item to support annual rent at John Toon Airport for first temporary and then permanent hangars for our aircraft, as we transition away from the outdated facility on the grounds of the training academy. Speaking of the training academy, the budget provides for 5 new officer positions as we operate the academy at maximum capacity pretty much year-round. These additional positions would add to our abilities in the areas of academics, quality assurance, career development, and defensive tactics. The budget also includes $680,000 for an additional crime analyst to support our investigative teams and detective overtime funding for extensive investigations, including those related to homicides. And there's a $2.8 million line item for technology, as our police department works to increase public safety through computer enhancements in police vehicles, development of a better police records management system, and our ongoing work to establish a community safety center at headquarters that will rely on the network of overt safety cameras in our city to quickly further investigations in real time. License plate reader monitoring would also be a function of the Community Safety Center. As you know, we are in the midst of a 6-month LPR pilot. Since March, verified LPR hits in Nashville has led to the arrest of 58 individuals on charges including aggravated rape, carjacking, motor vehicle theft, and more. I am convinced this technology is making our city safer and is part of our precision policing commitment. We in the police department are excited about being innovative in our continuing work to enhance public safety in our ever-growing Nashville fiscal year. Again, through organizational excellence, community engagement, and precision policing. Thank you for your support. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm pleased to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief Drake. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank you and all your staff for all the great work you've done. And after the Covenant school shooting, obviously, we really appreciate all that y'all have done. So,
yes, sir. Thank you.
Any questions? Councilmember Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We appreciate y'all so much, and a lot of great new programs, I think, that are being responsive to what we've heard about concerns from the community. So I appreciate that. Is there money specifically in here for the Partners in Crime expansion? Does that show up anywhere? I mean, my understanding is you're adding 2 more precincts, and then hopefully after that, it'll be everywhere.
Yes, it is in there. So we plan to keep expanding to all precincts. So that's part of what we're doing. We just started Midtown Hills, and with the 9th precinct coming on board, that's our goal to have it in all. But in the precincts now that currently don't have the partners in care, we're actually, when we have situations like we had one today, we're sending partners in care representatives over to those situations to try to resolve it peacefully. We had one today that could have been a tragic situation, and it ended peacefully. So very committed to that. So.
And I'm excited to hear about what's being called REACH, which I think is maybe that's totally out of the fire department, so that may not even be your bailiwick now, but
you know, we have a great partnership with the fire department, and Chief Swan and I, we're friends. We talk. Sometimes we'll call each other and talk about what we're cooking for dinner. You know? Right. And so with the REACH program, having a non-police response to situations, I think just adds another level of what we're trying to do, and that's to provide the best service to the citizens of Nashville and Davidson County, and having the non-police model in addition to what we do. There's occasions where they may show up somewhere and realize that they need the co-response and they need the partners in care, and we don't mind being there to respond. Gotcha. It just makes us better.
Gotcha. So Steve Martini's group is doing the figuring out who to send where, and y'all adjust as you need to on the fly. That's great. I appreciate that. Just a question about the state passed legislation creating funding for SROs in every single school. Mm-hmm. And is that what we're doing, or do we have a different model in the elementary schools that I think you referred to a slightly different way, or how does what you're doing mesh with what the state just passed? And
real quick, I just want to interrupt 1 second. If we could stay on the budget issues today, I know there are a lot of committee meetings scheduled over the next few weeks where he's going to have to speak a lot about this. I think there's 3 scheduled. So if we could just stick to the numbers, and then he can get into the details in the coming weeks over all the committee meetings.
Okay, so just the budget piece of that, I guess.
Okay, yes, we are. What we have is what we did last school year, and so we have volunteer police officers who would go to elementary schools, and we pay them out of overtime funds. And currently that's what we have. We're hoping, as we increase staffing even more, that we can put full-time SROs at all the elementaries. So it's a constant work in progress, but that is a definite goal. Again, I have a 5-year-old grandson, and he's in our school system here in Nashville, and I think about him every single day, and I want our schools to be just as safe as anywhere else. So thank you.
And then one final LPR funding question. So you said that's the possibility of continuing that once we look at the data from the pilot is in the community something or other.
It is. It's for $1 million. It's $700,000 at the beginning of the fiscal year, and then another $300,000 at the mid-year fiscal around December.
Great. Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all giving that a try, and we look forward to seeing what the data tells us. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Council Member Johnston, you're recognized.
Thank you. So I know that you guys have been working really hard on recruiting to bring officers in, and I wanted to talk a little bit about, or wanted to hear from you, what are some of the most important things that you think that are a part of those recruiting bullet points, like come here because of X, Y, Z, and as it relates to the budget, obviously, so police pay, I think, is really important. So I want to talk about that. I know that the Civil Service Commission had recommended something, and I believe what's in the budget is less than that. So I wanted to get your comments on, in my opinion, the police department performs the most important function of government, which is public safety. And so it's really important that not only we recruit to the numbers that we should have, but also retain those. And part of that is morale. And so can you speak to what is currently being offered in the budget, and what you would like to see and what the officers would like to see? Because I would like to keep who we have, and also bring in other talented officers from around the country.
Okay, yeah. Very good. So thank you for that question. We are improving our pay from for recruits that are coming in from 45,000 to 54,000, and as they become PO2s, which is a full-time, full-service commissioned police officer, from to 65,000 from 59, and that is considered to be the best in the state from what Metro HR has told me. I haven't had a chance to look at other cities around the country, but I know we're in competition with every city in America. What I feel and what I see as I visit other police departments around the country is that we have undoubtedly one of the best police departments, and I wouldn't say that. People that know me know I'm honest. One of the best police departments in the country, and I think it should reflect that in the pay. One thing that I try to make sure that we do is that we value our employees. And so as I took over as police chief, I was signing about 9 to 10 resignations a week. That's down to a trickle now. We're actually moving towards being fully staffed. This city demands a lot from our men and women. As we may be the best paid in the state, there's still a big demand for officers. So if an officer is making $1,000 more than, say, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, but the Tennessee Highway Patrol may only have one function to work, where a Metro police officer is going to have to work special events, marathons, football games, and so the quality of life is greatly diminished. The men and women love working here, but the demand on that time is what's really pulling at them, and so I think the pay should be reflective of that, if that answers your question. So
It does, and I appreciate that for our new officers that we're bringing in, that we're apparently the highest paid in the state, which is great. But what about those officers that have 5, 6, 10, 12 years? It seems to me if you're bumping up those initial, those first and second year officers, but the rest of everyone else is not bumped up accordingly, you're creating compression, which I know that if I've served somewhere for 10 years and I'm making a certain amount, and then this guy comes in and is making as much, as much or maybe even more than I am, that's going to make me upset, right? I'm going to feel devalued. Mm-hmm. So can you speak to the compression that, again, while I appreciate, these recruiting numbers for these new officers, and so that's great, but what about everybody else?
Yeah, that's been a concern within the police department, and we've had a lot of discussions about compression and how someone that's been on a lot longer may not be making as much as someone that's just coming in. And so that's we have to look at a little bit more. I think Samira can answer more to compression, but that is a concern within the police department. So.
That compression is one thing, but also I just want to put it on record that another cause with compression is this reverse slotting that our HR department continues to do throughout multiple departments, but obviously this one right now. It is a problem, and in my mind it should be illegal, but I really hope that this council will look at that and try to make that right, because what we're saying we're giving these departments and these employees and what's actually coming across in their paychecks is two very, very different things. And everybody should know that. It's really hard to explain this step thing and the reverse slotting. I mean, it's almost like a completely different language, and I think in my mind it's done purposely so that you just get fed up and go, never mind, whatever. And that shouldn't be that way. We're talking about something very simple. It's pay people what they're worth, and they're worth a lot more than what we give them. So that's my spiel. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And I just have to do this because I don't get to do this very often. When I first started as a first-term councilman, my phone went off and started playing music, and our chief of staff, Rosie, came over and started getting on to me, and I was embarrassed and everything. Well, her phone just went off, and I didn't get to run over there and start making fun of her, so I just wanted to call her out on that. So sorry, y'all, I had to do that. Look at it. I know she's gonna. She'll never let me live that one down. Councilmember Pulley, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you all for being here. Thank you for what you do, Chief, and your entire department. We're very proud of you. A couple questions relative to your personnel. How many unfilled positions do you have that are budgeted?
So right now we have 137 positions that are vacant. We do have 71 trainees in the training academy right now, but we have 137 that's unfilled. So.
Okay, and it's important that you keep those unfilled positions because you're trying to fill them. Is that right?
Right. We're trying to fill them. We use whatever we don't fill, we use in savings, and so we use overtime initiatives, and that's one of the things we do when we staff elementary schools or other. If we have been impacted by crime in a certain part of town, then we use overtime resources in that part of town to help with what we're doing. But as those go away, as we become fully staffed, then we won't have those savings to do what we're doing now. So.
And then you'll address that at that time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How important is your training facility to enable you to get people through the training process and hired? And I want you to specifically address maybe, you said that we have a state-of-the-art police department, and I don't disagree with that at all. Do we have state-of-the-art training facilities to get our people through?
That's a very good question, and the answer is no. We don't have a state-of-the-art training facility. I visited NYPD, and I got to see their campus. It looks like a university. Inside, they had scenario rooms. They had an apartment complex. They had a grocery store, a bank, and other situations where they could conduct real-life scenarios inside. They had a media room that went, it was tiered downward for class settings where you could have a higher capacity, higher volume for trainees. They had an indoor range, a track that was on campus. We don't have a track. We have a concrete airway strip where we have helicopters flying over. So it's not state-of-the-art. I'm hoping there's been discussion of a new training facility that maybe police and fire will both have. But right now it's amazing the work the men and women do at the training academy with what we have, because they make the most. Some lateral trainees coming from other police departments, and we're putting them in a trailer to train and for their classroom setting. And so it's a lot of improvement to be done at the training academy. So,
having the benefit of being educated in my law enforcement experience at a SOSO training academy, which was then elevated to a state-of-the-art facility, I have a firsthand understanding of what a difference that makes in the ability to get an officer ready for the street, because you do many practical exercises as a result of or as a part of their training. Is that correct?
That's correct. You have to have scenarios, be able to do real life situations to prepare you for the most part of what you're going to deal with on the streets.
And a 60-year-old facility makes that very difficult for us to get our officers in state-of-the-art condition coming in and out of that academy. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. I just wanted to highlight how important it is. Does it restrict you in your ability to get numbers through the academy as well?
It does slow the numbers down, and it does. You know, I'm a former athlete, and you really get attracted to facilities and what a place has to offer. And when you see the training academy being outdated, it may send people the other way. But again, we're trying to get about 8 recruit classes a year through, and that's just a lot. It's packed to capacity, and we can't get any more in, and that's why we're doing so many classes too. But if we can improve that, and I think it's in discussion, and I hope it comes to fruition, it's going to help us tremendously. So
I would agree with you, and I encourage everybody to go by and take a look and see what we're dealing with currently, and maybe take a look at some of the other areas throughout the country and what they have, and what a difference that makes in the life of our officers. And I've just got one final question for you. Could you share with us what you and Chief Swan talk about for your meal preferences?
We talk about everything, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Pulley. One follow-up question on that, Chief Drake, if you don't mind. The Tennessee Law Enforcement Academy is in my district. I think you know where that's located out there. It's my understanding over the next year or two, they're going to be moving that old facility out to Cockrell Bend. I didn't know how much y'all actually used the current law enforcement academy, the Tennessee Law Enforcement Academy. Obviously, there are people there from all over the state using that. I didn't know if the new facility was going to have things in the new facility that y'all could use that you didn't have, or do y'all do pretty much all of that in-house? I was just curious if you could give me some information on that. Thank you.
Yeah, we do it all pretty much in-house, and there's two different training programs. They have a very efficient program too, but ours is longer, and we do partner together on some things. And if we need to have a gun range or some scenario training, we can partner together. But for the most part, it's in-house. So.
I'm well aware of the gun range in Donaldson. Thank you very much. I hope all of y'all will get to experience that in your district one day. So anyway, Council Member Bradford was first. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Chief Drake, for being here to present the budget and answer some of these questions. So the first question that you've not already answered so far is about the school safety initiative. My question with this is MMPS, are we aware if MMPS is putting any money towards this, or is this being completely funded from MMPD?
This was completely funded by MMPD. We didn't get any funding from Metro Schools.
And you've mentioned several times about overtime and the use of our police forces for special events, especially here in the downtown area. Does any money get reimbursed to MMPD from the tourism or the chamber, since these are all events that they promote and that they bring in millions of dollars for?
We do. We get some support from the Visitors and Convention Center, and that's been very, very helpful for what we're trying to do. And I don't know if we could do it without them, so we do get help from them. From Metro Schools, it's in our hearts to make sure that we take care of our kids. And I've said, I'm committed to not only Nashville but to our schools as well. And if we can keep our kids safe in school, because what they really should be focused on is a great learning environment and making new friends. And if the very small thing we can do is as officers to work overtime to do that, then we'll do it. We would love to have the funding, but we'll make it happen without it. So.
And with this entertainment district unit, can you explain a little bit more about what they're doing? Are these officers that are already assigned to this precinct, or are there officers that are being pulled from other precincts?
So historically, what we had done in the past, we pull officers from all over the county, and so we brought people into the downtown corridor to work with things they weren't familiar with. So if you worked in an area of town where you dealt with violent crime, then you didn't know the certain nuances that happen in the downtown corridor. You may let certain things happen because you just didn't view it as critical enough to deal with. Having officers rotate in all the time, different officers, there wasn't a rapport established. And I really believe the best way to be effective in dealing with crime is to have a great rapport with the community that we serve. So having that consistency, knowing the merchants, knowing the tourism, knowing the different codes and how to work together is a lot better. And then they're committed to the area that they're working in. They're not being pulled on their day off to work somewhere else. So I think it's a lot more effective. They're giving up a lot. They're working Thursday through Sunday, so they're not getting Saturdays and Sundays off. So they're volunteering to give up their weekends until rebid for an entire year. So that's a major commitment. So.
All right, thank you. And the last couple of questions I have are in regards to the training facility. So I'm seeing in here there's money for rent for John C. Toon for the choppers because, as you stated, the current facility doesn't have space for them. With this talk of getting a new facility, is there plans to relocate the helicopters back to the training facility so that we're not basically wasting money on rent? And kind of a second part of that would be, we've got lots of Metro property. Councilmember Roden has just brought up that there might be some potential land there. The state's going to give that up. Are we looking at utilizing land that we already have? And what all's been planned for this new facility?
So there's been initial discussions for police and fire academy for training. We have not had discussions about aviation moving back to the training academy. I didn't think it was a good practice to have recruits and officers going through in-service training with helicopters flying over, with K-9 dogs going through training. One jump a fence and gets loose and you have an injury that could occur. We're not opposed to if we build somewhere else. I'm sure I can have discussion with the mayor's office. Christian Wilson and has been very good at working with us if we can relocate everything to one facility. So that's not off the table. But right now, with the bigger aircraft, we have to have the bigger hangars. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Vice Chair Gamble, you're recognized, and then Commander Nash, you're hitting cleanup.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Chief Drake, for all the exceptional work you and the police department are doing to keep our community and city safe. My questions revolve around the training facility as well. You mentioned that there is a short, long-term plan to get a state-of-the-art facility. Have you all done a cost analysis or review of what can be done to the current facility to make some capital improvements at this time? And if so, what are those costs?
So we have made some capital improvements to some of the classrooms, weight training facilities, and et cetera. But I think it's just too outdated to make any more improvements to it. It would have to be torn down to make better. And so we haven't had a cost analysis, but in my opinion, I think it would have to be torn down. And so it's just better to build a new one. So thank you for that, and thanks for your support. So thank you.
Thank you. Commander Nash, you're recognized.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I honestly got 20 years ago when I was in planning, we were meeting and talking about a joint academy between police and fire out on the current property. That's a pretty big property with indoor shooting range, so we're not disturbing the neighbors. So I hope we'll get to that point where we're doing more than just talking about it going forward. The other piece is, in 2008, I was here, and it was the first time Metro not only didn't give raises, but they froze the steps. Mm-hmm. And that was the start of compression back in 2008. And obviously, the economic conditions at that time made it very difficult and made that necessary, I'll accept. But we've never worked our way back out of that. Practice. And so I hope over the next couple of years, and again, these things don't get corrected overnight, but I hope that we'll continue to put some pressure on, because it does make a difference to those senior officers and the pay they're getting and our ability to kind of retain them. Mm-hmm. You're doing a good job, but you've got one hand tied behind your back, in my opinion, here, and keeping them. So again, something you need to be telling them and get the finances right, so the next time we have the money to do it, we can start fixing this.
All right. Thank you.
Was there a question there, or was that just a speech?
Do you agree?
Yes, sir. I totally agree. Thank you.
I just want to make sure there was a question there. For everybody who didn't know I was joking, on the board it still says Councilmember Glover there, and he's sitting in that seat, so that's why I gave him a hard time. So anyway, Chief, I don't see any other hands. Thank you so much. For all y'all who sit in the back don't know, my grandfather, who I was raised by, was assistant chief back in the 70s, and so I used to ride around him with the car out in Hermitage, and it was an unmarked car, and I used to love it as a little 5-year-old kid standing up in the front seat. They didn't require us to lock us up back then, and whenever a car would drive by us too fast, a teenager, he didn't feel like it was a problem to turn on his lights and chase him down and give him a good warning, and so I loved that as a 5-year-old kid, so I still remember those days. So thank you, Chief, very much.
Thank you. Thank you.